Hello, this is World University and Schools News and Question and Answer on Monday, April 24th, 2023 at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm Scott McLeod, and as we wait to see if people will join this open conversation in Zoom with announcements posted on Twitter and sent out in email, just checking to see if people want to join this conversation. Now, not seeing anyone. I'd like to share a little news with you about recent developments at World University and School. First, accreditation and licensing. World University and School continues to wait to hear back from Middle States Commission on Higher Education with offices in the greater Philadelphia area, and which accredits schools, colleges in 5 states on the eastern seaboard of the USA and some internationally. And with regard to also potentially World University and School seeking to matriculate students this upcoming September 1, 2023 on a emerging platform that would include a Google WUaS platform building on MIT OpenCourseWare centric resources. So both CC4 ocw.mit.edu courses, about 2,600 undergraduate and graduate courses in English, and CC4 CS First with Google at WUaS course, Learning the Scratch Programming Language, are Creative Commons 4 licensed. We can share 2, adapt 3, but not commercially. Anyone can do this with this new form of licensing with CC4 licensing. And this also is something World University and School is seeking to make these degrees that World University and School is developing that would be accredited with Middle States Commission on Higher Education and licensed in the state of Pennsylvania. World University and School is seeking to make available to students in all 200 countries. So accreditation would facilitate both World University and School reaching out to Pennsylvania students and potentially the students in the 5 states that Middle States Commission on Higher Education accredits. And for example, Middle States Commission on Higher Education accredits the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, a high-achieving university. World University and School would then potentially, like also MIT accredited by its own regional accrediting agency, and Stanford also accredited by its own regional accrediting agency, be of new value to prospective students from all of 200 countries, like students traveling from all 200 countries to study on the ground at MIT and Stanford by way of comparison. So World University and School reached out last week to Middle States Commission on Higher Education again, after getting a phone call from them in February, which seemed to suggest we had the green light to proceed with further steps in accreditation. But we haven't heard back from them from our inquiry last week. So ongoing waiting. Stay tuned. Item 2, GuideStar.org is an organization that lists 501c3s, federal tax-exempt charitable institutions. And World University and School received, first became a 501c3 in federal tax-exempt organization in 2010. And our ruling year per the IRS, Internal Revenue Service, was 2014. And we've been listed on GuideStar, which is an independent organization that lists federally designated 501c3s. And we've been seeking to update and change our GuideStar listing and add new people and remove some people, and have reached out recently to GuideStar's communications organization, I think, called Candid, and are waiting to hear back from them. We received a confirmation of receipt of our email inquiry and are looking forward to updating our GuideStar World University and School website, and which would then potentially allow us to receive tax-exempt donations. Stay tuned in these regards too. Item 3, one of the emerging questions in the information technology revolution, and now with artificial intelligence gathering steam as new, interesting, end-user friendly AI conversational software technologies emerge, such as ChatGPT and Google Bard, is how to code artificial intelligence potentially in terms of regulation. In 2020, the CEO of Google and Alphabet, Sundar Pichai, suggested that it was, he said, artificial intelligence needs to be regulated, and this is still true today. One of the questions World University and School would like to address is further, how to code machine learning and artificial intelligence to regulate itself. So this would be a process whereby possible principles, such as that might be part of good regulatory frameworks, including safety, explainability, fairness, and accountability, might be coded to, in developing AI, to regulate itself. So AI would come to further develop safety, for example, explainability, fairness, and accountability in its regulation of itself. Now, at World University and School, we're seeking to be in all 200 countries and in their main languages. So we're in a place where potentially World University and School contributing to coding artificial intelligence to regulate itself could help develop these regulatory principles. This new kind of coding software platforms, approaches to human and artificial intelligence communications and how they could develop. How to code machine learning and artificial intelligence to regulate itself. Could Google Bard and world university and school help, and with MIT open courseware courses, for example. And there's an article in this related Twitter post that I'll post in today's World University and School and my blogs too, on regulation of machine learning and artificial intelligence in the US. Further, with regard to this Twitter post from World University and School, how could World University and School's 200 law schools come to help code machine learning and artificial intelligence to regulate itself? So these are fascinating developments in the information technology revolution that World University and School might be able to contribute toward in the development of potential regulation of artificial intelligence, and in artificial intelligence regulating itself, and potentially in all 200 countries in their main languages. Let's see if anyone is seeking to join. Not seeing anyone yet. The next news item I'd like to share with you is related, and with regard to item 4 here, and Chinese law, how to regulate machine learning and artificial intelligence with the China Law School at World University and School, and regarding especially the Stanford China Guiding Cases project, which ran from or operated from 2011 to 2021, and with May Getchlik at the Stanford Law School being the executive director of the Stanford China Guiding Cases project, which initially translated court rulings from the Beijing Supreme Court into English and then back into Chinese as a way to come into communication from another legal perspective, Stanford Law School's critical thinking, perhaps, about how law works and Chinese law works and American law works. And it seems like World University and School could very much help with Chinese law and our China Law School at WUaS regulate machine learning and artificial intelligence by coming into a conversation with May Getchlik, who I think is still at Stanford, and what has emerged from the Stanford China Guiding Cases project. So these are interesting questions in potentially the Mandarin language and other languages in China as artificial intelligence grows, as companies develop artificial intelligence to further their goals, and as individuals also develop artificial intelligence coding processes in a variety of ways, not especially in China, and also potentially in communication with other countries, possibly all 200 countries, such as the United States and the European Union, as they seek further to develop regulatory frameworks to make artificial intelligence useful and safe, explainable, fair, and similar. The 200 countries in the world, each having their own law systems, now on the web makes this potential for coding artificial intelligence with Chinese law to regulate itself particularly timely and relevant. Item 5, how can MIT OpenCourseware-centric wiki work world university and school do well ethically and do good ethically for all 7.9 billion people, each a Wikidata PIN number, and build on what Google has learned, especially from their one-time motto, "Don't be evil," through to today, and in WUaS building in 7,151 living languages, and with Google Bard. There are remarkable opportunities here in planning for ethics and in coding for 7.9 billion people, including in terms of abolition, to prevent modern slavery, for example, and including in all 200 countries, potentially with Google Bard, AI software, AI conversational software, also with the Google infrastructure and ecosystem. Thanks to Sundar Pichai in 2020 for saying that artificial intelligence needs to be regulated. Countries' legal systems, the EU's 28 countries or so, the United States, China, India, will also contribute to this regulation, these regulatory frameworks for AI, and as it grows through the decades. And this is a fascinating conversation that MIT OpenCourseware-centric wiki work world university and school seeks to participate in all 200 countries in their main languages and in all of their 7,151 living languages, potentially, for example, with Google Bard, but world university and school would potentially engage the AI software that all 200 countries were developing and building in seeking to facilitate AI regulating itself, but also how humans might code these processes. So Google Bard is AI conversational software, which is an experiment and quite new and has just gone public. And at the academic press at World University and School, and in my writing, my upcoming Society in Information Technology and the Global University book, based on a course I've long taught, and potentially with Google Bard, which has proofreading capabilities. Here's a related tweet. In writing my upcoming Society and Information Technology and the Global University book based on a course I've long taught at this URL, worlduniversityandschool.org/info tech network SOC global univ.html with Google Bard 2, how best to engage AI proofreading and to create a first AI course with Google Bard, interactivity in students, for example, emailing, potentially weekly, who might be taking this course, this new AI course, emailing Bard, Google Bard itself, and me, their ideas. But a way for students to engage this Society and Information Technology course in a new way on a weekly basis, and with emailing to generate a conversation about ideas they're interested in, and potentially with me, but also with Bard itself. As Bard's knowledge basis grows, as Google Bard itself potentially becomes a kind of teacher in an interesting way, as artificial intelligence conversational software grows. How, in writing this Society and Information Technology and the Global University book and developing this potentially related AI course, I can develop further engagement with these ideas, readers, listeners to the audiobook, and participants in the AI course, such that they might also, prospective students with this AI course on Society and Information Technology in the Global University might actually register, is an unfolding set of questions. Stay tuned. So, item number 7. This is more about longevity and aging reversal genetics, and also Food and Drug Administration, FDA, potential regulation, as well as engaging the randomized clinical trial processes that organizations and universities and companies have engaged in to develop, for example, vaccines in the coronavirus pandemic. Here's a related tweet, and it relates to the FDA recent Twitter post regarding emergency use authorization for vaccines, EUA, emergency use authorizations. So EUA, emergency use authorizations for vaccines, could apply to aging, and not only the SARS-CoV-2 vaccines. Regarding the emergency use idea, so emergency use authorization could apply to aging, regarding emergency use, and even with a sound FDA scientific rationale, to turn into randomized clinical trials testing of these vaccines, and thus to potentially test aging reversal drugs in the pipeline, and in a way that relates to WUaS clinical trials too. So the emergency use authorization, where aging could be related to this concept of aging, aging could be related to this concept of emergency use, is a fascinating new set of FDA rationales to potentially develop aging reversal drugs and test them in people in safe ways, where aging reversal and longevity drugs conclusions from their randomized clinical trials may be very long in coming. So this emergency use authorization for vaccines may be a whole new approach to developing clinical trials, to developing testing of vaccines for also aging and aging reversal drugs and longevity drugs that the FDA and the federal government are developing and emerging from the coronavirus pandemic, roughly going from March of 2020, 2.5 years forward, it seems, to the middle of 2022 or so. So this Twitter post that I just shared with you also relates to the Twitter post from the FDA itself, which was on Dr. Rob Califf, MD's Twitter feed. And I'll read the Twitter post. Today, FDA amended the EUAs of the Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna COVID-19 bivalent mRNA vaccines to simplify the vaccination schedule to most individuals. And there's a link. And what you need to know is how the tweet ends. This was posted about 3 or 4 days ago, suggesting that vaccination for COVID-19 is ongoing from the federal government, and an interesting possible correlating set of testing and vaccine development processes might be coming out of this. and World University and School is hypothesizing. So how can World University and School, in planning to code not only for all 330 million people in the USA, each a Wikidata pin number, but also all 7.9 billion people in the USA, in the world, in all 200 countries and in all 7,151 known living languages, further potentially work with possibly emergency use authorizations of the Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna COVID-19 bivalent mRNA vaccines to simplify the vaccination schedule for most individuals. Stay tuned, as this might emerge into a new approach for developing and testing aging, reversal, and longevity genetics vaccines as well. And item 8, again, a Twitter post and idea regarding the Harvard and MIT professor of genetics, George Church, which I shared last week as well in this WUaS news and question and answer on Mondays. Last week was, I think, April 17th, 2024, maybe April 16th. FDA approval, Dr. Church, Dr. Geo Church on Twitter. Age reversal, he's talked about FDA approval a fair amount in videos and on websites, and check out his thinking on how FDA approval would work, especially in his video interviews, and with regarding gene therapies and longevity, regarding cellular reprogramming and longevity. And World University and School would further engage some of these questions on FDA approval with what Dr. Geo Church is heralding, and regarding age reversal emerging drugs for WUAS longevity. And even in WUAS virtual reality, in a realistic virtual earth for genetics, a realistic virtual earth for STEM, think Google Street View with Time Slider, Google Maps, Google Earth at the cellular and molecular levels too, and with Little Pegman, Avatar Bot becoming even Avatar Bot electronic medical records. So that's the news and question and answer for today, Monday, April 24th, 2023. The next WUS News and Q&A is on Monday, May 1st, 2023, at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time. I think it's 7:30 p.m. India time. I will post this video recording to YouTube /Scott McCloud World University, and post this video also in World University and Schools 2 blogs. Stay tuned. More on Twitter at twitter.com/WORLD UNIVANDSCH, and email meeting@worlduniversityandschool.org if you know of students who might be interested in free online degrees beginning this autumn 2023. worlduniversityandschool.org is our web page, and with more activity on twitter.com/WORLD UNIVANDSCH and twitter.com/WUAS PRESS. Until next week, see you soon. Thank you. I'm going to take off my red headband soon. worlduniversityandschool.org. Bye for now.